Hello. Well, we managed to find a little bit of a break in the weather to look at something that has fallen a bit out of fashion recently, but used to be an important source of vitamins during the winter. And actually, we're also going to have a look for the less health conscious at some other uses. So this is Rosa canina, the dog rose. It's a thorny, vigorous plant, tolerant of shade, and that's why you'll often find it in woodland margins where it makes a great barrier. But when I saw these flowers in the spring, my thoughts turned to the autumn, which is where we are now. And one thing, rose hips and rosehip syrup. It was during the war that it was realised that rosehips are a rich source of vitamin C. A daily dose of rosehip syrup was recommended by the Ministry of Food. Indeed, as a post-war baby, I still remember a daily dose of Del Rosa syrup. And what we're going to do is a different method. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to top and tail these hips. Once we've done that, what we're actually going to do is to score each of these like this, just so that really the juice can get out of the hip. You just want to create a layer really. And then what we're going to do is add some sugar. I'm using, actually, this is a golden caster sugar, which I think just gives a little bit of an extra flavour, but I mean, you can use any old sugar really. It doesn't matter, because as you'll see, the sugar is taken into the syrup, made into the syrup. So there we are. I'll just shake that down like that, and then we'll add another layer, and we'll add another layer, and we'll build it up until the jar is absolutely full. If you put that aside, within 24 hours, the sugar takes the juice out of the hips and starts to form the syrup. I've actually got some that I've done earlier. Now this jar has been was made a few days ago actually, and you can see that the hips have now completely liquefied the sugar, and actually you can see it sort of rolling around like that. And that's now starting to extract the vitamins and the colour from the hips. This one, same thing, except I've actually split the hips in half and scooped out the seeds. So there's a lot more hips in there compared to the sugar. And it's going to be quite interesting to see when I open these up again in 2 or 3 months probably, which one of these is going to be better. So now it's the moment of truth. We're in the middle of January. Here they all are in the jars, and I'm going to separate the hips from the syrup. And I'm going to use this. This is all sterilised. It's just a simple jam muslin, and it's over a funnel, and it's going to drain into this bottle. So let's just pop that on there. This is just the little weight, which is to really just keep the hips underneath the level of the syrup. And here we go. Oh, certainly smells quite nice. Let's just tip this in here, and hopefully it will start to drain through. And oh, I can see it going through now. It's already starting to drain through into the bottle. Well, let's just empty that out. We're already getting nearly half a bottle gone through. You need to strain it, because otherwise, if there's any of those little fibres that have come out from the hips, you don't want that in the syrup. This lot is the hips that were halved and scooped out, so there were no seeds. So I'm interested to see. This seems a lot more solid actually, and I think it might take a bit longer to drain, but let's try. I'm doing it in a different bottle simply because then we can do a little bit of a taste test and see whether or not they're any different. It's a lot stickier, and I'm wondering about whether or not that's going to strain particularly well, but let's have a look and see. More like jam really. Oh yeah, there's something starting to come through now. Very slowly, much more like honey. So I've had a bit of a clear up, and I managed to get all the rosehip syrup off all of my cameras. It just gets absolutely everywhere. So here we are, and now it's time for a bit of a taste. Now this is the one which is from the scored hips, and it's a beautiful colour. I put a light behind it just to show you how intense that colour actually is. That is actually delicious. I can taste the hips. It's got a slight note in the background of some sort of fermentation. So I suspect some of the wild yeasts may actually have taken some sort of action. And it won't have gone too far with this concentration of sugar. But funnily enough, when I did actually come take the top off, there was a little bit of foam around the top, which implies there is some very slow fermentation taking place. But no, that is absolutely delicious. So now, let's get the other bottle and see what that tastes like. Again, I can see some sort of evidence of slight fermentation going on there. But let's try. Well, as I suspected, that is a little bit more concentrated in flavour, but really, in all honesty, the flavour is the same. It's absolutely delicious. And I don't think I'd bother with the additional work of splitting all of those hips again in future. So I think what I'm going to do is combine all of these. And I'm going to hand over now to my son Greg, who actually is something of an aficionado on making cocktails. So this is another way that we can use this syrup, and let's see what happens. I'll let him talk it through.
Well, Dad is overstating my expertise, but I have drunk a fair few cocktails in my time. And we thought the best way to use this lovely woodland elixir in a cocktail would be to actually use it in a classic sour cocktail. So a classic sour cocktail is 2 parts spirit, 1 part something sour, and then 1 part something sweet. Given that it's the fruit of British woodlands, we thought we'd go with a heavy British theme. So we're using a nice British gin. Any London dry gin would do. And for the sour, we're going to use some limes because of the British Navy history, limeys and all that. And we're going to start. So we're going to start by measuring out. There's 2 of us drinking, in case you think my measures are a bit large. But we're going to start by measuring out 1 of these lovely, look at that, amber nectar. And into the shaker. We're going to do 1 of freshly squeezed lime juice. Straight in there. And then 2 gins. There's the first. And there's the second. And pop the cork back in. Oh, it smells really good. I can actually smell the rosehip syrup in there. It smells amazing. Got my great big cup of ice here. Ice in the shaker. Top on the shaker nice and firm so I don't get covered in juice. And then we're going to shake. So I like to shake until my hands are freezing cold. And then I'm going to shake some more just to make sure it's really, really cold. There we go. And then we're going to strain into these lovely pre-chilled glasses that have a really nice big block of ice in them. And that is a lovely colour.
So that sounds like that might be the signal for me to come and join you, Greg.
I think it is. I'm just going to finish them each off while you're joining me with a little wheel of lime so that anyone drinking it knows what's in it.
Oh, I can smell that. I can smell that too.
It does. It smells.
I actually can smell it. Yeah,
I know. I wasn't lying.
No. I can.
There we go.
Smell that. Oh,
right.
No.
Well, bottoms up.
Cheers. Let's have a taste. Do you know what?
It's not bad, is it?
That's actually not bad at all.
This is, for the camera, this is actually both of our first time trying this cocktail with the rosehip syrup.
Well, yeah.
And it is absolutely delicious.
I think I'll... Well, next year, I think we're just going to have a massive bottle of this because that's really only... That might go this evening, actually. I'm not sure.
I think we better go to shops and get some more limes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, enjoy making your rosehip syrup and, have a bit of fun with it.